Hi everybody, this is Laura Robertson with Keller Williams Realty. I'm here with Blaine Lewis, who's the owner of Premier Painting, and we've worked together for, I think, 10 years now.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And today we're going to talk about exterior home painting. So Blaine, what's important for homeowners to know, and what's the process of getting your home painted on the outside?
Well, the main thing is that a lot of people need to know that, you know, when we paint a house, we have to power wash the outside. And if we're doing the brick, we generally have to brush clean that with the power washer. So they'll do a rinse on the brick, and then they'll do a broom clean. We don't want to blast a 2,700 psi machine on the grout because it might blow it out. So, but it's real important though that on the brick right here, if we're cleaning this, it needs to be rinsed and then brushed and then rinsed. And then if we're painting just the wood, we'll use the regular 2,700 psi to clean all the guttering, the garage doors, all the woodwork on the house.
So after you wash it, how long does it need to dry before you can start painting?
24 to 48 hours minimum. And if we do have like a severe winds, believe it or not, like if we power washed it today and then let's say tomorrow we had 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts, we'd actually have to wash it again because all the dust would stick right back onto the house again. So generally we try to plan it to where when we power wash the house, we let it dry 24 to 48 hours. Then what we try to do is schedule a prep, which is the prepping is replacing wood, all the caulking, and covering the windows. And as you can see how they cover the windows over here. And then our trademark is we put paper on the brick below the soffit line. That's just to ensure that people don't get overspray, paint drips, or anything on the house. And it also allows us, when we do spray the soffits and the fascia, we get a full 1.5 mil of paint on there, and that's real important. A lot of companies come in and they use a shield on the bottom and then they use a shield on the top and they go ch-ch, and that's called a piss coat, and it's not an adequate paint coating. So, but what we do is the first day we do all the wood replacement, we do all the caulking, and then at the end of the day we have all the windows wrapped, the house wrapped with paper. Then we wait the next day to start the painting. The reason we do that is that we want the neighbor, we want the owner of the house, we want everybody to see what we're doing, and because we do 100% recaulk. We caulk both sides of the shoe molds. We caulk behind the fascia, in front, right, you know, where the 1x4 meets the soffit. Also on the 2x8s, if we want to walk over here, you see this is a urethane caulk. This is the right caulk to put in here. This will probably last as long as the homeowner lives here before it even, I mean, it probably won't crack out. The urethane has real high elasticity. It shrinks and expands with the adverse weather. Whereas acrylic caulks may crack out 6 months after you've done it.
Wow.
And maybe sometimes it'll last 5 years. But this is the right caulking to use. Anytime you have wood that meets up to the brick, you got to use a urethane.
So there's a lot of prep. Is the prep longer than the actual painting sometimes?
That's the longest part. I mean, you can look at the house and you'll see like on the front side of the house or where the siding is and all that stuff, is that we do all the vertical seams where the siding is. We also, all the nail pops where the nails are, those get caulked. Also, any new wood that we put on the house, we prime it front and back. We don't just put it on and then prime it.
Interesting.
And then, you know, we just make sure. And then also, Antonio, we'll take a sanders on some of the 1x4s that are peeling on the house, and he'll sand those, and then those get primed as well.
Wow, incredible. So on painted brick, I know that's really becoming super popular, and I'm seeing it in subdivisions. I know you said you're going to be doing one soon.
Yeah, we have 3 of them on the books, but right now we're having a primer shortage.
Sure. Well, how about HOAs? Are they beginning to? Do you have any pushback from homeowners associations?
It's funny you said that. Like for instance, the Neighborhood Inspiration that's over in St. Paul. You know, they were absolutely, nobody could paint their house. You know, the brick. A lot of people wanted to have their brick painted because those homes are only 1 to 2 years old, 3 years old. But anyway. Unfortunately, they had a little loophole in that, whereas Shattuck, you know, the builder, was painting a lot of their houses, you know, brand new, painting the brick.
Okay.
So everybody's just started saying. So a lot of HOAs are getting them a little bit more flexible, and now you can paint the brick in like Inspiration. Like on Waterview and Richardson, you know, all those older homes that were built back in the 70s and 80s, I mean, we've painted probably 60% of those houses on Waterview between Campbell Road and Arapahoe.
What colors are you seeing people do on the exterior painted brick?
Well, right now we're seeing light grays on the brick, or right now the trend is whites. I mean, we're doing white, solid whites. We just did 3 houses over there in Richardson that probably about, I'd say right in November, that we did all white.
Okay.
And then we just accented it with like navy blue shutters or black shutters. But I think that's a short-lived trim, just like kind of how the grays have gone back to beige grays now. But I would encourage people to probably go with an off-white on your brick, and then maybe the white on your soffits and your fascia and all that stuff.
White brick's been traditional for, I mean,
Correct.
You know, that's forever.
Usually there's a two-tone, you know, to break up the monotony, because the older homes have a bigger soffit, you know, and these newer homes, like, you know, these out here, they have a smaller soffit. They need something to break up the monotony with. I would always encourage two tones on all these houses over here. It would really be nice right now. Also, the other trend is white on the brick and like black fox or iron ore on all the trim and the siding and everything. So you see a lot of dark colors coming out right now that are really popular for the soffits and the fascia, the woodwork.
And what, I know it depends on the size of the house and the amount of work, but what's the starting point or the range of pricing for a painted house?
Well, like for instance, this house right here is probably about a 4,200 square foot house. It would probably be, for painting the brick on this one, anywhere from $9,000 to $10,000.
Okay. Okay.
And on smaller one stories, we're talking just the brick only. You're looking at around $5,000.
Okay. All right. And then what's the maintenance on a painted brick?
Really good, as long as they do it, you know, right the first time. I mean, that's why I always tell everybody when they're taking estimates when I go into a bid that, you know, you only have one chance to do it right the first time. And on brick, it's just like, it's masonry. It puts out effervescent salt deposits. So you have to seal that. And if you don't, then if you paint over it, it's like statuary. You always got your grandma's got in the backyard a little fountain. It peels all the time. It wasn't primed.
Gotcha.
But with the brick, you have to use a Loxon masonry primer, and then you seal that, and it comes in solid color, so you can get white or you can tint it gray. I always like to tint my primers to an Optimum color primer called P3. It's a real light gray, but it covers well. So then after we put the primer on the brick, what we do then is we wait 24 hours for that to dry good. That'll seal all the effervescent salt deposits in it. And then we top coat it with, I recommend Super Paint from Sherwin-Williams or Duration. They're pure acrylics. You have to use a pure acrylic. You don't want to use a vinyl acrylic because it could peel as well. So anyway, just
interesting.
Pure acrylics is the key for the top coat. And then the Loxon, you know, what it's doing is the primer. You know, when you drive by some homes and you see people's brick, it has all those white lines and it looks like, you know, like white, and that's salt deposits.
Okay.
That's what keeps that from coming out of the brick.
Yes, well, you got to do it right the first time.
Right.
And as you can see, this guy really knows his stuff. So if you ever need any painting, Blaine's your guy. Thanks so much for meeting with us today. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Have a great day.